My name is Arvind Vora, a key volunteer of Shanti. Prior to newly arrived immigrants like me from India, is that in short time, how more than 2 dozen Indian immigrants became CEOs in Alphabet, to YouTube, and in between IBM, Microsoft, Starbucks, and others. They all have one thing in common: education. More specifically, IITs. Collectively, they preside over more than 5 trillion of capitalization, almost 10% of total market capitalization, and 20% of the US economy. There were 5 IITs after independence of India, and now there are 22. The most important part is that now there is one IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, outside India, and that is in Africa. One person who played a key role is our current Consul General. Now I request Honorable Ambassador Stephen to welcome you all. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bora. Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, Senate Majority Leader of New York State, Ms. Daniel Lee, Dr. Bernard Gann, Dr. Son Brown, Mr. Arvind Bora of Shanti Fund, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, members of Shanti Fund, good afternoon and namaskar. It's an honor to stand before you today as we come together to celebrate Black History Month. This is a time to celebrate the extraordinary contributions, resilience and achievement of the African American community. This is my second year. I remember last year I was very new when we celebrated the Black History Month, and I was kind of surprised to see the speakers, speaking about, of course, any part of the world you know about the contribution that the African American community has made here. But last year, I got enlightened with the speeches from various speakers about the contribution in various facets of nation building of United States that has been made by the African American community. So I'm happy that this time we are again celebrating the Black History Month with the Shanti Fund. For those of you who don't know, Shanti Fund is a leading organization which has been committed to the enduring legacy of Mahatma Gandhi. They have been doing wonderful work to promote the ideals of Mahatma Gandhi in this part of the world. But coming to the Black History Month, the way I look at it, this is a story of struggle and triumph, of pain and perseverance, and of unwavering faith in the ideals of freedom and dignity. That is the history of Black Americans here. It is a history that has shaped the United States and inspired movements for justice across the world, including in India. As we reflect on this rich history, we recognize the remarkable leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and many other leaders who fought against oppression and injustice, paving the way for a more equitable society, not only here, but across the world. Today, while we remember the history, we also celebrate the achievements of countless African Americans who have broken barriers in every field, from science to literature, from arts to sports, and from business to politics. India and the United States share deep-rooted values of democracy, diversity, and the pursuit of human rights. Our histories were intertwined in many ways, especially in the shared struggle against colonialism, discrimination, and inequality. The influence of Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent resistance on the American civil rights movement, particularly on Dr. King, is a testament to the moral and ideological bonds between our two people. Dr. King himself acknowledged this connection when he visited India in 1959, which he called as a pilgrimage. And he mentioned about drawing inspiration from Gandhi's fight against racial and social injustice. The relationship between the Indian and African American communities is one of solidarity, from the struggles against colonial rule in India to the fight for civil rights in America. Our histories echo each other. Even today, our communities continue to collaborate, learn from one another, and work toward building a world that affords equality and dignity for Another connection which I mentioned last time, when we talk about Mahatma Gandhi, his connections with, I would say, philosophical and intellectual connection with Dr. K. We also remember the fact that Mahatma Gandhi became Mahatma Gandhi only in Africa. He went as a barrister to South Africa and going through the experiences there, practicing the ideas of non-violence, he became Mahatma Gandhi. So we always say that we sent a barrister to Africa and we got Mahatma Gandhi in return. So that's the connection of Africa with Indian freedom struggle. And like Senator, I was mentioning to you that I was working as our ambassador in Tanzania. So I have my own personal connection, and today, such a lovely coincidence, I have my friend Ahmad Dibibi. He was a strong friend. Dr. Kishore Gora mentioned about IIT. He was my strongest partner and friend, Mr. Dibibi. He's visiting from Tanzania here today, and such a coincidence that he happens to be here today when we are celebrating. But coming to this, at the Indian Consulate in New York, we are committed to fostering greater cultural and intellectual exchanges between our communities. We believe that diversity is our strength, and by working together, we can create a more just and inclusive world. Let this month serve as a reminder of the power of unity, the importance of remembering history, and the responsibility we all share in shaping a better future. Together, let us honor the past, celebrate the present, and build a future grounded in justice, peace, and mutual respect. Let me once again express my sincere thanks to all of you for finding time to join here. And Mr. Bora, I must thank you for organizing this event and bringing quite a few friends together. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Say it again. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This is a pleasure, honor to be here. Just want to acknowledge Dr. Paramita Sen, as well as Dr. Neil Phillips, for actually introducing me to this opportunity. I'd like to acknowledge my wife, Mia, and my daughter, Adriana, who is in the audience, as well as our neighbor, Lucretia. As I listened to the senator speak, and she spoke about Amsterdam Highlands, as I was driving down, I was reflecting on the fact that my sister had lived there all her life. So it's interesting how our lives are kind of connected. I can also resonate with what she mentioned in terms about growing up in the projects, which I will talk about in a few moments. But it's both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today. I want to reflect on my 44 years of service in education and the profound significance of Black history, not just in the United States, but across the world. As we celebrate the invaluable contributions of African American or Black individuals throughout history, we also recognize the global connection and the struggles for freedom. From the civil rights movement in the U.S. to India's own liberation fight, our nation's political and cultural journeys are linked by a shared quest for justice, dignity, and self-determination. I grew up in Harlem. I was one of 14 children, 9 boys and 5 girls. We learned about heroes like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Percy Sutton, Minister Farquhar, and Hannibal. These are the individuals who fought for freedom, for a better life for their people. As a youngster, we didn't know the impact or the effect that it would have on us growing up. But my true heroes were my parents. They raised us in the projects, navigating the heroin and crack epidemics in an environment that was labeled as poor. Yet as children, we didn't feel like we were poor. My parents, though not formally educated, taught us that the invaluable life lessons about survival, dignity, and the importance of an education. Now, even though I grew up in that neighborhood, I never felt confined by it. I always sensed that I was destined for something greater. Though I didn't fully understand it as a child, my actions, whether good or bad, will move me toward that purpose. And I believe that God was guiding me all along. After meeting Mia, my wife of nearly 42 years, I began to walk that path. We are both educators, and we both have over 40 years of experience, beginning our careers at Columbia University. Together we raised our 3 children, Bernard, Quentin, and Aviana, with Mia being the primary source of support for our family, while I went to school and earned my bachelor's degree, 2 masters, and a doctorate. So I'm deeply grateful for my wife's unwavering love and support. I don't see you where she is. So as an educator, I've seen firsthand how education can transform your life, help you as an individual, help your family, help your community, and even help the world. But as an African American, I believe education is incomplete without a thorough understanding of Black history. Black history is not just a collection of past events. It is a living, evolving story that continues to shape our world. I'm glad to be a part of history even on today. For students in the United States, Black history is the foundation of understanding race, identity, and social justice. It helps students grasp the struggles, achievements, and the resilience of Black communities that have been integral to America's development. From the abolitionist movement to the civil rights struggle, Black history has been central to the ongoing fight for justice, equality, and freedom in the United States. This history extends far beyond the United States. It is crucial for students around the world to learn about the global diaspora of Black people, their history, their struggles, their triumphs, and their contribution. Recognizing the significance of Black history ensures that students develop an empathy, respect, and understanding, allowing them to see the world from diverse perspectives. Now, we know that education has the power to transform lives. And by understanding the deep histories of resistance and resilience, such as the Black communities' fight for freedom and India's independence struggle, we can build more just societies. This event today is reflective of that collective thought about how important it is to work with one another. Now, these lessons resonate with India's own independence movement, where figures like Mahatma Gandhi inspired global change through nonviolent resistance, and Martin Luther King, who embraced Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence. Both Black Americans and Indians share a vision of liberation through peaceful means, not necessarily with the fist or the fight, but just by peace, loving on one another. The alliances formed during that time, whether intellectual, political, or personal, highlight the power of global solidarity in the face of oppression. Reflecting on these historical lessons, also think about the challenges I faced through my educational and professional journey. Despite my achievements, I still encounter racial disparities in promotions and salary. When I look at the whole of the educational environment, these inequalities persist even when jobs claim we are an equal opportunity employer, showing the systemic nature of racism in our society. This issue is even more trouble when it occurs in predominantly Black environments. The deep emotional struggle of self-hate, rooted in the trauma of slavery, persists today. Generations of violence, mistreatment, and dehumanization have led some to internalize negative stereotypes about themselves. Overcoming this not only requires healing emotionally, but also challenging the societal system that perpetuates inequality. In my doctoral studies, I explored how race is a social construct shaped by language and culture rather than an objective biological fact. The classification system helped dominant groups maintain power, leading to racial inequality. Black history provides a critical opportunity to reflect on slavery's impact and honor those who fought for the freedoms we now enjoy today. Now, education isn't confined to the classroom. It is interwoven into every fabric of the communities we serve. Black communities have been at the forefront of social movements, fighting not only for their own rights, but for the rights of all marginalized people. Similarly, India's freedom struggle was fueled by the resilience and the collective action of its people, mobilizing for justice and equality across diverse communities. The common thread in both movements is the belief of the power of collective action coming together to create change. Now, I've learned that meaningful change occurs when we engage our communities, listen to their needs, and act together. As educators, we have the responsibility to guide students not only in academic subjects, but also in how to contribute to their communities. Black history teaches us that true change comes when people unite for a common cause, much like the solidarity seen in India's liberation movement, where people from all walks of life rallied for justice. Through mentorship, outreach, and partnership, we see that the journey for justice and freedom is ongoing, it's never ending, but it's also built on the collective strength of people coming together. The Black church has long been in the forefront of social movements. Today, congregants can worship from home via social media platforms, a powerful tool for spreading the message. This is the stark contrast to the days of slavery when Black people were forbidden from worshiping freely and were restricted to specific scripture passages such as Ephesians 6:5. Slaves, obey your earthly masters and respect and fear just as you would obey Christ. At the Community Baptist Church of Inglewood, New Jersey, where I've served as a member of the diaconate for 27 years, we continue our commitment to the community under the leadership of Dr. Lester W. Taylor, Jr., Senior Pastor. We provide spiritual guidance, education, and financial support to those in need. This work reflects our dedication to do something or understand that something is greater than ourselves, a spiritual call to serve others. Now, one of the most powerful lessons that I've learned from Black history and India's struggle for independence is the importance of service. Leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi dedicated their lives to serving others, not just for their own freedom, but for the dignity and rights of all people. Their legacy teaches us that meaningful change requires sacrifice and selflessness. This commitment to service transcends borders. Throughout my career, I've been inspired by these examples of selflessness. As educators, we must teach the next generation that service is not a passive act, but a way of life. It's a commitment to others, to building a future where the people are treated with dignity and respect. Both Black American and Indian leaders understood the true freedom goes beyond political independence. It's about creating a society grounded in service, compassion, and solidarity. Now, one way I've contributed is through the creation of BCC's Black Male Initiative Program. Inspired by Dr. Edison O. Jackson, former president of Megiddo College, and Dr. Lester W. Taylor Jr., I developed a male mentoring program to give back to my community and prepare the next generation of male leaders. Now in its 21st year, the Male Empowerment Network is part of CUNY's Black Male Initiative Program. As we reflect on the legacies of Black history and India's independence, we realize that our actions today shape the future. In education, this means teaching students the values of equity, justice, and respect. These lessons must not be confined to a single month or a moment, but should be woven into the fabric of our daily lives. By learning from resilience and collective empowerment that define both Black American and Indian liberation movements, we equip future generations with the tools to continue to fight for justice and equality. In 1900, W.E.B. Du Bois identified the color line as the central issue of the new century at the Pan American Congress in London. He recognized the importance of alliances across the African diaspora and with nations like India, which were resisting colonial oppression. Indian freedom fighters like Lajpat Rai worked in solidarity with Black Americans, recognizing their shared struggle against colonialism and racism. These collaborations demonstrated that the fight for freedom is universal. As we honor Black history, we also celebrate the ongoing global fight for justice. The connection between Black Americans and Indians remains today, as seen through initiatives like the CUNY India Study Abroad Program, which Paramita and Dr. Phillips kind of lead. This program has brought students and faculty from diverse backgrounds together to learn about sustainability, technology, and social responsibility. These partnerships echo the historical alliances formed during liberation struggles, reinforcing our shared commitment to a better, more just world. Since 2019, 102 CUNY students and 11 faculty members from 14 campuses have visited India for study abroad and research, supported by grants from the U.S. State's Department, Public Diplomacy Program, and NSF. BCC also hosted 17 students from Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture and Technology for a STEM internship program in 2023, and welcomed Fulbright scholar Dr. Snell Dondi from Mumbai University to conduct research on environmental science. In 2023, BCC also co-hosted the India CUNY International Climate Change Conference, bringing together students and faculty from both nations to discuss sustainability. Our students have also participated in community engagement projects in India, including fundraising for sports uniforms, donating to orphans and senior citizens, and promoting social responsibility. There's a full report that Dr. Phillip can share, and I'm sure he'll share with this body. In conclusion, Black History Month serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring contributions, achievements, and resilience of Black community. It calls us to celebrate the past while continuing to fight for justice, equality, and empowerment. Through initiatives like those led by Bronx Community College, we see how connections of Black Americans and Indians remain strong today. Together we can build a future where freedom, dignity, and equality are accessible to all, driven by our shared commitment to service, solidarity, and global collaboration. I would like to close with a poem written by Langston Hughes. It's a poem that I remember since I was 5 years old. It's called I Too Sing America. It reflects the struggle of African Americans to assert their identity. The poem highlights how their race should not diminish their rightful place as citizens, challenging the notion that being Black makes them less than American than white people. In the context of self-hate, rooted in trauma of slavery, this poem underscores resilience to reject internalized inferiority and embrace one's worth belonging in America. I too sing America. I am the dark brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to invite Dr. Daniel Lee, Associate Dean of SUNY State University of New York at Old Westbury, that's our hometown. Good disclosure, Gandhi Peace Garden having 150 trees, one from each of the 50 states, is at this campus and was virtually inaugurated by the Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi. Santi Fund also established Gandhi Lecture Series at this university. Dr. Lee.
During Black History Month, a time dedicated to celebrating the rich legacy, accomplishments, and resilience of African Americans. And while the reflection in history of how far Black people have come globally and in the United States since slavery will always be a critical conversation, I want us to take a moment to recognize that there still exists a multitude of systems and policies that still marginalize all people of difference in skin color, belief systems, and who they love, just to name a few. I would like to take this opportunity, though, to talk about joy as a form of resistance. Joy in the African American experience is not just a feeling, but a force of resistance and resilience. In Audre Lorde's 1978 essay, The Uses of the Erotic, Lorde states, in order to perpetuate itself, every oppression must corrupt or distort those various sources of power within the culture of the oppressed that can provide energy for change. We know that any form of happiness or joy from slaves was an affront to the slave master's control. You could not be happy unless the master said so. Oppression works best when the oppressed are forced to remove or leave behind anything experienced through personal agency, like joy. Joy is a way of asserting dignity and humanity in the face of systemic adversity. Joy is not just an emotional state, but it is an affirmation of life itself. It is found in music, in art, family, and in community. While communal joy represents an outright danger to a repressive regime, individual joy can also empower resistance. One of the ways it does this is by affirming our humanity. Ingrid Fattel Lee, of no relation, whose work focuses on the aesthetics of joy and activism, says all struggles for justice are also struggles for the acknowledgement of the oppressed group's full humanity. Joy is a sign of vibrant life, of thriving. It is one of the things that makes us truly human. I would also add that when we remember who we are as a people, who our ancestors were, and what they had to endure so that you and I can be here today on our own volition and agency, whether we be from Africa, India, Ireland, or indigenous America, we must always remember that it is our joyous spirit and humanity that absolutely frightens tyranny. Because it is when we are at our best selves, unfettered from all the things oppressive ideologies tell us on a daily basis to make us feel and accept the persistent colonial era idea of dark skin and native inherent inferiority, we express our power. Our joy is a weapon. Let me say that again. Our joy is a weapon. The wonderful scholar, Gayatri Spivak, has taught us that self-alternity depends on our acceptance of what the oppressor tells us about ourselves. Therefore, we must always resist those who tell us we should not or cannot because it doesn't fit within the mold created for all of us that are different. Now, at this point, I'm sure some of you are wondering to yourselves, okay, so what do we do, Danielle? How the heck do you expect me to find joy with everything going on in the world? Or what right have we to sit here and think about joy while so many are suffering? So let me be precise in my answer to those questions. Audre Lorde also said, in the transformation of silence into action, your silence will not protect you. Joy is subversive. Joy is an expression of what life could be if justice, equity, and empathy were allowed to bloom as we wanted. It is a reflection of what is possible in the world that is frightening to tyranny. I ask you all to dig very deeply into yourselves, to find and use joy as you would any vitamin or prescribed medicine for your mental and physical health. We are at our most vulnerable when we believe there is no hope. We are at our most vulnerable when we give in, and we must not give into any narrative designed to condition you to be a willing participant in your own oppression. We are also at our most vulnerable when we can't share our joy because of so much grief surrounding us. But this is the thing. I believe we must model what is possible so that there is a guide and a light for those of us who have been weakened by oppression and don't know how to get out of it. For me, this idea goes back to being on a plane and having those oxygen bags, drop from the ceiling when there's trouble. And we're always told we have to put it on first before we can assist our loved one. Your joy is that assistant. Your joy is what helps people see the impossible, helps them see themselves outside of the narrative. When I think about my ancestors, particularly those born here in American soil without having the benefits and privilege of modern technology, and I think about my grandmother, who worked for the same family for 30 years, helped raise her children, first wife and second wife. I also think about my grandfather, who was a merchant marine but could only cook on the ship. He had been all over the world and could only be in the kitchen. Those two people, who did not graduate high school, I think my grandmother didn't make it past 8th grade, owned property. They traveled. They belonged to social circles. They were the example of what Black excellence looks like, but also what Black humanity is capable of. I ask myself, if they could survive and thrive without all the modern things we enjoy today, what right have I to perform a narrative that depends on my Black self to always mourn why I am not good enough to fit in, or to lament not having seats at tables when I know every entrance I make into a room or conversation is a self-made seat? I do not need an invitation to use my voice and my agency. In this way, I'm kind of like all of our aunties and grandmothers that bring their own spice seasoning to a food, to dinner. Like, oh, that's a little bit. I have aunties like that. Always. I encourage you all to stop asking permission to be happy, to stop asking permission to be yourself, to stop asking permission to enjoy the hue of your skin tone, to enjoy the aroma of the seasonings when you cook my favorite chicken tikka masala. Just to name one of my favorite dishes, right? I implore you to use your happiness and spirit to help those around you that are struggling. I ask you to happily state your displeasure against injustice. Your silence will not protect you. There is a saying in the Black community about speaking with your full chest. So when standing up to tyranny, oppression, or any time you see another human being suffer, use your full chest to speak against it. Live with your full chest. Now I know that can be a scary proposition, and I want to be clear. I am not asking you to put yourself in physical peril and all that comes with it. I am asking you to generate and model for others who feel lost what personal power and agency we all have despite the counter-narrative. Joy is found in resilience as people. It is in the strength and perseverance of people who, despite centuries of marginalization, continue to live with hope and possibility. It is in the community-based activities, the support systems of families and friends that we create for one another, and the unbreakable bonds that tie generations and cultures to one another. When I think about joy in the Black community, music stands as one of the most profound and enduring symbols of that joy. From the spirituals sung by slaves on the enslaved in the fields, to the blues that emerged to the South, to jazz, gospel, R&B, hip-hop, and beyond, music has been a soundtrack to the Black experience. Someone once said, if you want to understand what Black people are thinking or feeling, listen to the music, and we will tell you. Music is used to uplift, to heal, and to call for justice. We saw that at the Super Bowl, didn't we? With Kendrick Lamar. Doo, 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 doo. It is in these rhythms and melodies that Black people have expressed their joy and sorrow, their struggles, and their traumas. The joy found in music is not just about entertainment. It is about expressing freedom, creativity, and the enduring spirit of the people. While art and music are obvious expressions of joy, it is also in the family gatherings, filled with laughter, the Sunday dinners that bring people together, the celebrations of milestones, and the simple acts of love and connection that bring light to even the darkest of all days. But that doesn't just belong to Black people, that belongs to all of us. Every single human being deserves joy and safety and empathy and caring and love and community. And we all deserve for someone to reach a hand out to us to say, it's going to be okay, because I am partnered with you in this fight. Black culture has been a source of inspiration for people of all backgrounds, from the global influence of music on the dance floors of the world. African American creativity and joy has sparked cultural movements that transcend borders and unite us all. The connection between the African American experience, the Indian experience, the global liberation movements, including the anti-colonial struggles, are deeply rooted in our shared struggles for dignity, freedom, and equality. As we celebrate Black History Month, let us remember that joy is not just a fleeting emotion, but an essential part of the Black experience, of the human experience, a force that has shaped the culture of the United States and has impacted the world in profound and lasting ways. It is a joy born out of struggle, yes, but it is also a joy that refuses to be crushed by adversity. It is a joy that embraces life, celebrates culture, and celebrates the very essence of what it means to be human. We need to remind people what our humanity is. I don't think so. It's very obvious that we are humans and we are connected and we love and we hate and we fear and all the things that our counterparts don't believe about us. So, as we reflect on the history, the achievements, and the resilience of African Americans, let us please take a moment to celebrate joy. Let us honor the creativity, the music, the art, the family, the activism, the fighting, and the community that continues to inspire us all. For Black joy is not just an African American experience, it is a universal human celebration of life itself, and I refuse and resist anyone that tells me, that tells us, that we need permission to express our humanity. Thank you.
Hey!
Thank you, Soyoung and Nalai. Now I'd like to invite and welcome Dr. Sean Brown, Principal of Uniondale High School on Long Island.
Good evening, everyone. And I am so impressed by all of the speakers. You guys did an amazing job, and it was very inspiring to hear stories. And I wanted to speak a little bit about my narrative. A promise that I made to myself is that regardless of what room I step into, I will tell my truth. I will share my story. And when you hear my story, it might not sound like most people's stories. I am the spook who sat in school. For myself, you might look at my pamphlet and believe that I'm this well-accomplished person. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I don't think I need to say much else.
Of times where he felt that he was treated differently because of the color of his skin. Being told by his professor that the only reason he could answer a question correctly was because he must have written it down in his book. Having the locks suddenly changed without notice on the building where the Black Student Law Association held its meetings. My father, despite all the challenges that he faced, graduated and went on to become a prosecutor in the District Attorney's Office for Fulton County in Atlanta, Georgia. I Googled and saw that the office where my father worked as an attorney for over 30 years was located just 1.5 miles from the birth home of Dr. King.
Precious Lord.